Welcome back to the world of Zhuhan, where danger never really leaves. Just when peace seemed possible, shadows crept in again. What you're about to witness isn't just a continuation. It's a descent into the unknown. A past that refuses to die. If you think the storm is over, think again. Stay close. Because in this chapter, silence speaks loudest, and safety is only a dream. Zhuhan's journey is far from done, and neither is the one watching her. Her phone rang. No name. Just a number. She hesitated, then answered. A distorted voice whispered, "I never forgot. I never forgave." Her blood froze. Outside her window, the wind howled like a warning. That call wasn't about anyone else. It was meant for her. She locked the door quietly while Tom slept. She knew deep down peace was only temporary. Somewhere, someone was still watching. And whatever had been buried was starting to wake. On the way back to the countryside, Zhuhan tried to breathe. She talked to Then about Yen's condition, pretending everything was fine. But her thoughts weren't on Yen. They were behind her, on the phone call, on him. Every car that passed made her heart jolt. Every glance in the mirror came with fear. The past was no longer distant. It had found her again. And this time, it was watching closely, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. If this journey makes your heart race, don't walk away. Hit that like button. Subscribe to stay one step ahead with Zhuhan. Turn on the bell, because in this world, 1 second of silence can change everything. Every episode brings you closer to the truth. Or maybe, to danger. Share this with someone who thinks they're safe. Let them know the past always finds its way back. Especially when you least expect it. Welcome to the next chapter. They stopped at a small roadside playground filled with bright colors and laughter. Tom ran toward the slide, joining a few kids already climbing up. Zhuhan stood beside the bench, watching her son blend into the moment like he belonged. Then bought him a balloon and handed it over with a quiet smile. It was a simple act, but it tugged at her heart. In that burst of color and sound, she saw something rare, normalcy. And it made her ache with quiet longing. The indoor playground buzzed with lights and motion. Tom ran between the colorful ball pit and the miniature slide, laughing without pause. Zhuhan sat on a cushioned bench near the arcade machines, her eyes never leaving him. Then sat beside her, a quiet presence. The noise of children faded into a distant hum as her thoughts turned inward. For the first time in days, Tom was safe, playing like any other child. And for a moment, she allowed herself to breathe. Zhuhan sipped from a small paper cup, her hand still trembling slightly. Then offered her a tissue after she wiped her eyes. No one asked why she cried. It wasn't sadness, not exactly. It was something deeper. A strange mixture of exhaustion and quiet joy. Watching her son laugh without fear, seeing Then smile gently beside her, these were moments she thought she'd never have again. Moments so simple, they felt like a miracle. Tom called out to them, waving from the climbing net. Zhuhan smiled and waved back, while Then got up to spot the boy safely. Her eyes followed him, steady, kind, always there. The way Tom leaned into his support, the way Then instinctively knew when to step in, it all felt too natural. Like a puzzle falling into place. And suddenly, that buried longing rose again. Not just for safety, but for belonging. For something that looked a lot like a home. They sat again once Tom returned to the interactive screen. Zhuhan turned to Then, her voice soft but certain. "Thank you," she said, eyes not leaving the floor. "For everything. For finding me. For helping Tom. For never giving up on us." She hesitated. "I didn't expect anyone would care this much." Her voice trembled slightly. "But you did." Saying it out loud felt terrifying but freeing. It was the first truth she dared to speak in a long time. Then looked at her, not surprised, not flustered, just deeply present. "I care because you matter," he replied simply. "You and Tom. You both deserve peace." His words cut through the noise, sharp and warm all at once. Zhuhan blinked back, tears. No one had ever said that to her. not in a way that felt so real. She'd been running for so long, she forgot what it felt like to be seen not as broken, but as whole. Tom giggled loudly as the screen reacted to his taps. The lights flickered in colorful patterns, and for a brief second, everything felt light. Zhu-Han leaned slightly toward Than. "I used to dream of this," she said. "A day where nothing hurts. Where no one's chasing me." He didn't answer, but his presence was enough. In this moment, in this room full of laughter and blinking lights, Zhu-Han no longer felt like a shadow. She was a mother, a woman, still standing. After a while watching Tom play, Zhu-Han gently turned to Than. Her brow furrowed slightly. "I think I left something in the car," she said softly. Than looked at her with concern. "Want me to go with you?" he asked. She shook her head, offering a faint smile. "It's all right, I'll just be a minute." Her voice was calm, but her heart felt heavier than she let on. Something about tonight, the air, the quietness, it all stirred something uneasy within her. She walked down the dim hallway toward the parking lot, the muffled laughter of children fading behind her when she pushed open the exit door. A gust of cold air brushed her cheek. In the distance, the car waited in shadows under a flickering light. She approached it quietly, glancing around instinctively. There was no one else in sight until a subtle movement caught her eye near the corner. A woman was crouching by the trash bins, quietly sorting through empty bottles and scrap metal. Her age looked close to Zhu-Han's, but her back was hunched, movements slow. She wore an oversized jacket, sleeves frayed, and hands blackened by dirt. Zhu-Han froze. Her mind pulled back into a memory, one where she, too, had once scavenged for anything of value. Holding a baby. Cold nights. Shame heavy like chains. The woman before her was not just a stranger. She was a reflection. She slowly turned back to her car, hands trembling as she opened the door. Inside, she grabbed the forgotten bag, but it no longer felt important. Her heart was too full. She looked once more toward the woman, still bent over scraps. 1,000 emotions surged within her: guilt, gratitude, grief, and also strength. She had come so far. But that didn't mean the journey was over. Pain, after all, is a shapeshifter. Sometimes it wears your own face in someone else's body. Before heading back inside, Zhu-Han paused and looked around. Her eyes landed on a small convenience store tucked beside the building. A quiet ache grew in her chest. That woman out there, bent under the weight of life, reminded her too much of her own nights scavenging in alleys. The shame, the cold, the hunger. They were ghosts that still breathed down her neck. She didn't want to remember, but she couldn't forget. Not when the past was staring right back at her. She walked quietly into the store. The fluorescent lights buzzed overhead. Rows of snacks, instant noodles, and cheap bottled drinks filled the shelves. Zhu-Han stood still for a moment, unsure what she was even doing there. But her feet moved on their own. Her hands reached for a loaf of bread, a bottle of water, and a small box of tissues. Not much, but enough. Enough to say, "I see you." Enough to say, "I remember." And most of all, enough to say, "I care." She handed the cashier a few bills, her fingers trembling slightly. As the clerk bagged the items, Zhu-Han's eyes drifted outside the window again. The woman was still there, now sitting on a low curb, her arms wrapped around herself. A figure so small, so forgotten. Zhu-Han took the bag gently, whispered a thank you, and walked back into the night. Her heart pounded. Not from fear this time, but from the ache of empathy too deep to silence. She approached slowly, careful not to startle the woman. Each step felt sacred. The way someone might approach a mirror that holds a truth too painful to name. Zhu-Han knelt down beside her, the bag held out with both hands. The woman looked up, startled, then confused. Zhu-Han didn't speak right away. Their eyes met. For a brief moment, nothing needed to be said. The act itself was enough, a silent bridge between two broken stories. The woman hesitated, then slowly reached out and took the bag. Her lips trembled as she whispered something too soft to hear. Zhu-Han nodded gently. You don't have to say anything, she thought. I understand. I've been there too. As she stood up, a tear slipped down the woman's cheek. Zhu-Han wanted to hug her, to say it would be okay. But she knew too well sometimes, hope begins not with promises, but with presence. Zhu-Han sat down gently beside the woman, her voice soft and slow. I used to be like you, she began, eyes gazing into the distance. Not long ago, I was digging through trash with my baby in my arms, too afraid to ask for help. I didn't know what tomorrow would bring. Sometimes I didn't want to see tomorrow at all. Life was cold. People were colder. But I kept walking. Somehow, I survived. The woman stayed silent, listening. Zhu-Han continued, her words trembling with memory. I know how it feels when no one sees you, when you feel invisible, forgotten, but you're not, you're here. You're breathing, and that's enough for now. Don't be ashamed of how you survive. Every scar, every hunger pain, every tear, it means you're still fighting, and that is beautiful. She took a breath, looking into the woman's weary eyes. Things got a little better for me. I found people who didn't judge me. I found safety, and slowly hope. It's still hard sometimes. But I promise you life can turn. Even when you least expect it. Just don't let go. You never know which day will be the one that changes everything. Zhu-Han gently placed the bag of bread and water into the woman's hands. It's not much, but I hope it helps a little today. I'm not rich. I'm still scared sometimes. But I remember too well what it's like to go hungry, to be afraid. So whenever I can, I choose kindness. Not just for others but for the girl I once was. For the woman you are now. She smiled faintly, eyes misted with tears. I don't know your story, but I know your strength. You're still here. That means something. You matter. You are worth saving. And even if you don't believe it now, I believe it for you. Until the day comes when you can believe it for yourself. Take care, okay? Stay warm, stay alive, stay you. As she stood up, the woman nodded slowly, holding the food close like a precious gift. Zhu-Han touched her shoulder lightly, then turned to leave. The sun had shifted slightly, a sliver of light breaking through the gray sky. And in her heart, a quiet peace settled. Not everything was fixed. Not every scar healed. But today something had mended. And that, too, was enough. Zhu-Han gave the woman one last look, a small nod before walking away. Their brief connection felt like a mirror to a past she had tried so hard to forget. As she reached the car, she saw Then holding Tan, the little boy half asleep on his shoulder. The warmth of the scene struck her to people waiting, always there, always gentle. Her steps slowed, as if afraid this moment might vanish if she came too fast. She opened the car door quietly, placing the forgotten item inside, then glanced at her, then at the direction she had just come from. That woman, he asked softly, someone you know? Zhu-Han shook her head, eyes a little moist. No, but somehow. I did, just for a moment, then said nothing, just followed her gaze, thoughtful and still. There was a silence between them, not awkward but heavy with memories unspoken, then finally murmured, it's strange. I don't know anyone here, but when I saw her, there was something. Something that felt like a piece of the past brushing against me. Maybe it wasn't her, maybe it was what she reminded me of. As the car pulled away, then silence spoke louder than words. That woman, her presence struck a hidden chord in him, a face he shouldn't remember, yet couldn't forget. Could the past really be catching up with him too? There was something in her eyes. Something unspoken. Something that didn't belong to Zhu-Han's story but his. She wasn't just a stranger. She was a shadow from a forgotten chapter. But why now? And what did it mean for Zhu-Han? And for him, who was she? And why did Than's heart tighten when he saw her? Some pasts refuse to stay buried. And some stories are just beginning. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to follow the next chapter of Zhu-Han's journey.